A cyber angel sails the seas with legs that reach to heaven. Your soul shall vex, she's NIRA X. Your heartbreak is a given. Adventure rules this comic tale. Escapism we espouse. Let's gather that booty. We know she's a cutie. And welcome our guest, Bill Mouse. Yo ho ho!
The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure, follows a retired soldier turned reporter who is given a coveted interview with a death row inmate. What he learns thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to use his military training to survive being hunted for possessing the information that could topple the city's most powerful ruling class. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
I was sitting all alone in my library chair when I found a book and it gave me a scare. The pages I kept turning, it quite took me in. What was it? Oh, where do I begin? We read the monsters. I read the monsters next door. The monsters. It had short stories galore. The monsters. It's full of horror and gore. The monsters. I read the monsters next door.
It's a Critical Blast podcast with our special guest, Bill Mouse.
It's him.
Thank you. Welcome everybody, and welcome our special guest, Mr. Bill Mouse, here today. Bill, how are you doing, sir?
How are you doing, dude? Hey, thank you for having me, by the way. This is like the pre-lunch for this book.
This isn't so much the tailgate party. This is like, the meeting each other at the Kroger party, getting the hot dogs for the tailgate party.
Yeah, exactly. We're actually buying the cooler as we speak.
Kevin apparently liked the music at the start of the stream. Don't know if you were there or not for that.
I heard that, and I'm just like, dude, I want to use that clip everywhere now.
I will send you the audio.
Dude, that was awesome. That was like the production value on that was like super cool.
Oh,
who did you have sing that for you? Because that was amazing, and that was a surprise. That was a surprise too. I had no idea you were doing that.
Well, I try to have one for everybody on the show, and that was like every other video we did, except for Fund My Comic, and except for the Immortal Mask. Every other video was completely AI.
Gotcha. No way. That's crazy.
So I write songs and then I say, you sing them.
You sing
the
them.
AI says, yes, sir. and then it sings it to me the way I want.
My compliments to the computer that put it together.
Yeah. The computer does a not too bad job sometimes. Committed Comics says I'm trying to get in, but I'm not able.
Oh, Tom. I'm sorry, dude. It's like just stay safe. I don't know if he's in the middle of traveling back to his studio space or what, but yeah, whatever's happening, Tom. Hey, man, just
don't
be
try to
safe.
get in from the car.
Yeah. You know, it's like, Ken, how you doing, dude?
you bringing all the boys to the yard tonight, man. It's
super cool. I see Kevin in the room. Kevin, how you doing, dude?
You do have me to blame for the
odds there. I see Pops. I see Pops out there. Pops, how you doing, dude?
Pops is here. Pops is always here.
You know, Pops actually has
everybody who comes in.
Pops has the distinguished hosting duties for our launch party. That's actually going to be on February 18th. So that's how far. This is how ahead of time.
Hey, it'll be here before you know it.
RJ is clairvoyant. He's like, I know about this book before anybody.
Yeah. Oh, well, the thing is like, I know NIRA X. I remember NIRA X when NIRA X was a baby. When
when she was a wee lass.
Yes, when she was sharing space with Zen Intergalactic Ninja and Evangeline and all those other independent titles of the bygone days.
Yeah, I'm actually excited this year about what's going on with NIRA and also with Zen, since you mentioned Zen, because it's those are the two kind of bigger books that I'm working on for 2024. So we've got the NIRA book with Dark Seas from Committed Comics, and then we've got a 4-issue series that's being written by the co-creator of Zen, Steve Stern, and we're kind of like getting the gang back together again. So it's a 4-issue miniseries called Zen Bounty Wars, and kind of takes Zen into a nice, good, straightforward adventure story, down and dirty bounty hunting. You know, it's just a lot of fun. It's going to be so much fun. So that's going to be the Zen Bounty Wars book is coming after the Dark Seas book, obviously. But those are like first half of the year. Those are the two books that are taking up a lot of my attention.
It was early 90s, and I remember them saying that, hey, you know, the guy who made Zen, he just sold a movie deal. I'm like, oh, cool. When do we get to see Zen on the big screen? Oh, probably never, but he cashed the check.
He cashed the check. Hey, you know, it's funded me for about 10 years. So that's, you know, if they buy the option for Pops, what's going on, dude? I'm glad you're here, man.
Hey, I'm not going to interrupt RJ's show or anything. I wanted to say hi to you.
Dude, I'm glad you're here, man.
Because, you know, you guys rock and all that. Hey, everybody, be ready for this one. We'll be talking about it. You guys know what's up. NIRA X.
Exactly.
As the song says, with legs that go up to heaven.
They go all the way up and they reach the floor. So I mean, it's
you wouldn't believe how hard it was for me to find a rhyme for heaven. I thought it was an easy word, and I'm like, I've got 7 and 11, and none of those will make any kind of sense with.
And that only goes with like big gulps and slurpees. So I'm just like, wait a minute.
You also need to go subscribe to Bill's YouTube channel. He does 2 weekly shows that are both pretty awesome. You don't want to miss this stuff, man. So,
appreciate it. Yeah, bring my comic book family together, man. Because like you know, the fact that we can do this stuff together is the reason we do it. You know, so it's like this is awesome. This is our time, man.
But yeah, share the stream out. Let everybody know what's going on, so they got a heads up. Do you guys got a sign up page ready?
A sign-up page is almost ready. I think actually Tom doesn't have the pre-launch page ready, but he has a sign-up sheet ready. Okay. And I just don't have that information right in front of me. So hopefully Tom will pop in here pretty soon.
At least drop it in the chat.
He's dropping into the chat. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll drop it into the chat.
We do have a temp site, and that's the link that's below here. If you click that link, the very first link, you'll see this link. Kevin, it's too late, Kevin. It's too late. I used the word given. Given. Wait a second. Kevin rhymes with heaven. I could have brought Kevin into the song.
You could have brought Kevin. Could have been part of the whole thing.
See, if I'd have known that, then we could have said she has legs to go up to heaven. So gather that booty. We know she's a cutie, and we're drawing her just for Kevin.
Dude, that song came out so cool.
Use an excuse not to show up, Thomas. If you get home in time while they're still on, you jump in here, bro.
Gotta jump in. Yeah, I've got this internal goal in my head. I want to get 300-400, maybe 500 backers. That would just be amazing to kind of build up to that a little bit. We just bring everybody together. I think that would be just fantastic.
Look at that.
Be a lot of fun.
Call him out and he
look
shows
at that.
up.
Look at that. Pops uses powers. Pops don't use his powers.
No, I jumped on a different Wi-Fi in the office.
There you go.
For some reason, the initial one wasn't working. It was just stalling out. So
I'm glad you're here, bro.
I know. So let me throw the. Yeah, I'll throw the URL.
I was telling RJ he's about as clairvoyant as any live stream is for as early as we're getting online to promote the book that is not launching until February.
Yes. Did you get to hear the song, Tom?
I did not hear the song. I will hear that later on.
Dude, he hooked it up.
We'll play it again. We'll play it right now. Here we go.
Play right now.
The cyber angel sails the seas with legs that reach to heaven. Your soul shall vex, she's NIRA X. Your heartbreak is a given. Adventure rules this comic tale. Escapism we espouse. Let's gather that booty. We know she's a cutie. And welcome our guest, Bill Mouse. Yo ho ho!
RJ, you got to put that in my Monday Madness studio, so I have it for the launch party. All right.
Yeah,
but it's not a video. It's just
yeah, that's okay. It's just audio. That's fine.
I'm gonna throw some video into it.
There you go.
Yeah, please send me that sound blast. The sound blast from Critical Blast.
Yes, there you go.
I have fun making those things. It's like, what can I do to make my show unique anymore? Well, I can give every creator their own theme song whenever they come on.
Yeah.
You want to see something funny, guys? I was sitting back and I was playing around with Roku, and I went to my Roku YouTube and look what was on.
Oh, imagine that.
I was like, oh shit. That's why I jumped in here and got in here.
There you go. Sweet.
I seen it on my own TV.
You said there was nothing going on, so
you got the straight up studio. That's it, man. That's awesome.
It's fun. We're having fun now.
Oh man, but yeah, man, it's like we're this is like we just barely. I've got like the script down and thumbnails. I mean, we're in the middle of the heavy lifting part of working on the book. So it's like by the time the Kickstarter launches February 18th. Like all that heavy lifting will be done. It's like, we're not going to be waiting for 3 months for the book or anything like that. I'm working on the book now. Tom's got me working now.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we had an issue with the first issue. It was like we went ahead with everything, and Bill was like, "That's great. I can't draw the book yet. I don't have time." It was like, "Oh yeah."
It's like, "Oh no, I got to finish this. I got to finish that." Yeah. So planning ahead is our new mantra.
Yeah.
Because we know how it is. We buy comics too, so we support Kickstarters also. So it's like, you support the Kickstarter, and then it doesn't matter. Like as long as like whatever their delivery date that they were planning on is met, then I'm good to go. It's just like it's just when you're kind of waiting and it's like it's a couple weeks late or a month late or something like that. So it's so that's why we're working on it right now. So
all right, guys, I'm gonna get out the way. I'm gonna let RJ do his show. I get you next month, so
hey man, it's good to see you, Pops.
I'm sure I'll see you guys before that.
You know it. All right, take it easy, man.
Peace out, everybody. Share this out. Tell everybody. NIRA X2 coming next month.
That's right. We need everybody on board for this one. No pun intended.
Yo ho! So I'm getting a sense of a pirate theme for this.
Just a little bit. Loosely, there's a little bit of a pirate theme because of where the characters are actually ending up in this particular issue. The way the NIRA X universe is kind of forming up in with Committed Comics in that realm is that all of the other realities, timelines, adventures that NIRA has had in all these different places, they're all being kind of consolidated into this one world called Oasis. And if you think about it like a video game map, this expansive map of this mixture of all these different, time eras and characters that she's already run into. So she's in the middle of figuring out where she is, and she's running into other characters that are allies. She's running into characters that are enemies, and it'll be a mixture of all these different characters from the 90s. Kind of like it's a fresh take, but it's not a reboot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not erasing all of that continuity from back in the day.
Well, what is the continuity? I mean, what's the elevator primer on NIRA X?
If I had that one picture from showing her timeline,
I was gonna say, do you want me to pull it up? I have it.
Oh, do it. If you got it, pull it up while I'm explaining. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be
great. She's a cyber angel.
She's a cyber angel.
What does that mean?
But what does that mean exactly? She's she is a person from a timeline that was wiped out of existence. She has a brother, a scientist, who he's afraid to die. That's his whole thing. Is that he's looking for different ways of cheating death. So he wanted to essentially, because he's a scientist who messes with temporal mechanics. That's his whole background. So he was looking of a way to kind of pervert temporal mechanics. And he knows about there's a multiverse. He knows that you could live different lives. There's an infinite number of universes out there. He wanted to cheat death by literally living out each one of those. Every time he dies, he wakes up in a new reality. So he would live out each one of those lives, which would be infinite. So technically, he would be eternal, right?
That aligns very closely with a plot idea I've had that I'm doing nothing with, so I'm throwing it out there.
Okay.
Because I'm too busy to write any more books. But basically, the theory is this: is like every time in your life when you thought you almost died, you did.
Right.
And your consciousness was instantly transferred to the next multiverse where you didn't, and you're continuing to live on. So eventually, yes, everyone's going to know that you died. Multiple times they will know in all the different timelines that they've passed through. Exactly. But eventually you'll get to the final one where nobody's dead. Suddenly everybody's just alive again.
So, but his problem though, this MacGuffin is kind of like, it seemed like an airtight MacGuffin for himself. But and there's all the different versions of yourself. There's versions of yourself that are evil. There's versions of yourself that are good, and everything in between, right? So there's so many different versions of himself that were doing this experiment at the same time, that they all merged into this one character called Paradox. Very 90s that I called him Paradox because that's what he is. But he's a big hulking purple creature, like a hulking type of creature. And the bigger he gets, the more powerful he gets, the more he's just chaotic and causes destruction, and it all goes downhill from there. NIRA, being the little sister who was too close to the experiment to not be unaffected by it, that's how she gets her powers. And that's and one of the reasons she's called a cyber angel is because she's given this technology by some of the good versions of her brother in order to try and fix and clean up his mess, which it's being cleaned up, but in such a horrible, bad way. There's no happy ending to the story. It's just a never-ending.
There could be. We don't know.
There could be. Yeah. But it's a never-ending mess to clean up. It's an infinite mess.
This is NIRA's timeline that Bill was referring to. So it starts here.
Now I've actually labeled it according to like the different publishers that have published her, and so that's actually the only thing that kind of makes sense. Is that okay? Well, it started out with Entity Comics. She was born from Zen Comics because that was her first appearance in comic books, was when in Zen #0. Then she went off to the Immortel universe for a crossover. She did a Lightning Comics universe crossover. She did a Parody Press crossover.
And Comics Cavalcade.
Oh yeah. Comics Cavalcade, Avatar. Press. So I've got all the publishers in there a little bit, and of course she's a committed.
Just kind of goes all over the place.
It goes all over the place because time travel. I'm not going to be shy about the fact that I've written myself into corners dozens of times.
You've written yourself out of the building.
Yeah. It's almost every time I start a new book, it's almost like I'm starting a brand new story all over again. So. Time travel is messy. So that was fun during the night. I'm a time travel addict. If it's time travel is in the movie, I'm going to watch it no matter how bad it is or whatever. It's like Back to the Future nut, So anyways, my plan now is to consolidate all of that down into where we're at right now. And it's like, you know what? It'd be a lot of fun to bring back all these really pissed off characters that have had to
all
deal
these
with
other loops.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So as many of the characters that I could bring back that I can from all these other loops and all these other things, she's going to slowly start running into in this new world that exists just slightly outside of time. It's its own place. And I called it Oasis because exactly 90s mentality. That's what it is. It's an Oasis.
They were a great band.
But you get to learn how Oasis was built. You get to learn who's running it. You get to see there's a lot of like little secrets and things that pop up. But it's an action adventure, sense of humor. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's sexy. It's fun. It's sci-fi. It's influenced by all the stuff that I love to draw and all the stuff that I love to read myself. So it's a nice little mix of things. It's just a fun escapist adventure. There's no moral at the end of the I'm not teaching kids how to remember stay in school. It's like don't time travel.
The moral is don't play with time travel.
Yeah.
Don't time travel.
Yeah, don't do it.
So who is the audience for this? You mentioned kids there. Is this because I know you all had a hand in this other pinup book that I just got the other day that I've already safely put away. Who's the audience for NIRA X?
The audience for the Committed Comics version of NIRA X is basically everybody. It's a general audience book.
Yeah, it's pretty much a second book. Teen and up is, that's pretty much, which is pretty much almost everything at Marvel and DC at this point, right? Like every other major publisher, that's pretty much what their guidelines are. They've abandoned the concept of young readers.
Right. So even though we do cater to our older audience, our mature adult audience with some variant covers, and the characters are sexy in the book, but there's no actual nudity in the book. It's just the
covers.
Just on some of the variant covers for some of our adult collectors. Yeah. We have another imprint that's for specifically our adult collectors called Club Corrupt, and that's actually like adult material. But this is Committed Comics. This is a general audience book. It's meant for everybody. Like Tom said, teen and up.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to get yelled at when I do conventions and parents
Right, exactly. And then the people that were buying Entity from back in the day, they're all middle-aged to older people now, but they tell me that I bought this when I was a teenager. It's like I remember back in the 90s when this book was coming out from Entity and this and that. So we want the general audience book to be accessible to everybody.
And and it's funny because you were writing it when you were a teenager, so you get along with them, right?
Yeah, I was 20 years old when I was writing this thing, so
Bill's still a kid.
Yeah, I'm not going to grow up. It's a trap. It's there's no reason for me to grow up. But I'm happy
that the Avatar characters will be interesting to run into, and knowing what I know about the characters that were Avatar, you've really got a sort of like yes, I've matured in my old age now. And, I wear modest clothing and I don't curse as much.
It's like bathing suit, X-Men skin tight costumes that are about as far as like the tone of the book goes visually. Yeah. because like I said, we want this book to be accessible to everybody. There's so many different places for the actual adult material, and there's always a time and a place for that. And I love doing that type of material. It's fine. But this is what makes it legit. This is what makes it a legit series.
So this is going to be a series then. This particular adventure. Have you got?
Yeah, this one is a 3-issue miniseries. This is issue 2. We'll wrap it up with issue 3. The reason it has a pirate theme is because there's an area of I'll call it the map, of her world. There's an area of the map that's called Darkon's Triangle, and it was a bit of story that was from one of the 90s books. It was actually featured in the Avatar stuff. It was featured in the Avatar press books. So they're traversing this Darkon's Triangle in order to achieve a goal. I don't want to say like exactly what the goal is, because that's part of what the whole story of this issue particularly is. So that's what's happening right now. So they're in the middle of figuring it out. So you get to figure it out along with the characters, because they're a little bit in the dark also as to what's going on, where are they at, why is it like this,
Yeah, and then this is the second miniseries that Committed Comics has published. The first one, we did the Omnibus Ground Zero, which collected all of like a lot of the older stuff. And then we did Reborn, which was pretty much just bringing NIRA back into current comic production world. Exactly. And now we're at the Dark Seas. So,
and then the next one after this, I'll tell you when we get there.
When you figure it out.
I'll tell you when I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now just kind of concentrating on the ending of this series is where my 100% of my brain is on right now. So I'm just enjoying this for what this is. So it's good, but this is, we're going to continue with kind of like 3-issue story arcs. I think are the best way to approach it. So it's like it's a chunk at a time, and then we could build up to something bigger, and maybe we'll collect up some stuff, a few years down the road, into some kind of trade, and that way we've got like basically like the Committed Comics, timeline, the Committed Comics adventure.
That's what we've been getting into, is collecting trades. I mean, remember the old pocket books that Marvel used to do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're yeah. So I got books underneath me here. Yeah, and every time I pull them out, I don't put them back in the same order. So now, like, the little books are on the bottom and the great big books are on top, and they're like this.
I identify with your trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've been doing like things like paperback sized of this one's the Immortal Mask here. It's that, but they were like, hey, can we go back to the old days of the Spider-Man pocketbook? And we've been printing those up for people.
Yeah, I mean that's
really
what
cool,
for what was it? It's about our 8th year at Committed Comics, we started doing 6x9 size trades, which is a little bit larger than those probably, or probably comparable size.
This is like half of that. This is like 4.3 by 7.
Yeah, and so
that's almost a manga size, right?
Yeah, that's closer to manga size. Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
And we did 6x9, which is the same size that all of Sin City. That Dark Horse did for a couple of years with all their omnibuses.
Yeah, right.
Because that's a standard paper size overseas, so there's no cutting.
Gotcha. So it's good to go.
So it's like 40% cheaper to print
in all sizes. We're doing like 8.5 by 11 artist editions of some things for people. So we're like getting we're just showing the whole bleed. Is like, just give it the whole thing, and then we'll you see all the artwork that got cut off in the original versions.
Yeah,
but it's a challenge. So
I'm
learning more about this
11.
business.
Yeah, 8.5 and 11 doesn't quite scale unless you're going to have notations on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not trying to scale it because we want you to see the outer edges of the whole board with an artist edition. Hardcover, of course. And it's the largest size that our printer can work with. So.
I would love to collect up a big, thick, manga-sized, black and white version of all of the NIRA books. I think that would be a Tom. Wait.
We don't have rights to half of them at this point, buddy.
No, it'll have to start with issue 0. I'm saying that once we collect up enough stuff ourselves.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, again, once we get to that point when we have content.
Now, how do you lose the rights to your own character?
Well, for I want to say it was 10 or 15 years. When I was with Avatar Press, I did sign a contract with them. And I signed a contract that was specifically leaving the NIRA X character out of it. So that way I could do what I wanted to do with the NIRA character. But all of the other Cyber Angel characters, the side character, the supporting cast, anything that I was basically creating at Avatar Press at the time was exclusively under contract for Avatar Press. So
you don't have connection to the side characters that were
right?
I do now. It's
right.
that expired a long time ago.
But it's also just the content, the pages that were created for the publisher at the time, which is pretty much how a lot of publishers do it, because of the fact that if we don't have that actual intellectual property rights, we technically can't print it. So
all the material. Yeah, even though I have the rights to all my characters back and everything's cool, like my relationship with them is totally fine. They're he's a good guy and everything. So we just happened to move on. It was a different chapter in everybody's lives, and but the original artwork that I produced for Avatar Press, like I can't take any of that work and then reprint it myself somewhere else. The contract was specifically like that. It wasn't. The cat mouse is sneaking into the house.
There's a problem.
She brought gifts.
She did. She brought me a burger.
Where's mine?
Did you want one?
Where's mine?
I'll set it down right over here. Thank you. She is also she's also doing some of the coloring on the issue, and so she'll be doing some work on the issue. And she also has a variant
cover.
She has her own cover.
And her own cover?
She has her own covers. Two covers. Yeah, because she has a regular cover and she has one of those aforementioned adult covers. Because she's 26 years old and I can't tell her what not to do anymore.
I was gonna say that's got to be weird, Dad.
This is waffle. It took a long time to get used to her being an adult. So like the next thing.
But I mean, drawing adult stuff too.
Yeah, well, she's got her own brain. She's got her own things that she draws, and I'm just like, you know what? It's just like my stuff, but from a woman's point of view. So it's all switched around, and I'm like, wow, that's okay.
I've done
I get
the whole cleaning up of somebody else's room before, and they're 13, and there's a notebook in the closet, and you're like, oh, look, he's making graphic novels. He's doing the holy hell. Do we need to get this kid to a therapist?
Bill's not going to draw this for the rest of his life, is he? Lo and behold, he was.
He was. Womp womp.
When I asked you how you lose the rights to your own character, I thought you were going to say something like, "Let me tell you a little story about Miracle Man."
Yeah, luckily everything on my end worked out well. The other publishers that I've worked with, as far as using my creator own, like working with Tom right now with Committed, I own my own creator owned things. I own that artwork. I could do what I want with the artwork. One of the things that I do is I publish a studio edition artist proof edition with a different cover and maybe some different interiors of the books that we've actually published together as Committed Comics. And I specifically make those very separate as a studio, thing that you get from the artist, that sort of thing. What I don't want to do right now, though, is like, I noticed that's doing it at about the same time that we're publishing the regular version of the book. It's like, that doesn't make sense. So there might be studio versions of like the Dark Seas book, but that's going to be like down the road.
I think the best way to do it is, like you do the artist editions once we finish Dark Seas.
Well, that's the whole point. Yeah. It's like, it needs to be completely separate cycles, so that way they're completely different items. Nothing gets confused. Everybody knows what exactly it is. And the sales don't cannibalize each other's sales. You're trying
and also just
putting it forward like a united front, to sell a particular
trying
item.
To explain the arc and order that people need to read stuff. The last thing they want to see is we release issue 2 and you're releasing issue 1 or
right. Exactly. It's weird.
That always sucks.
It's just weird. But you know what? But that's because of this new era that we're living in. These are like some of the, we're not used to wearing. I mean, Tom is used to publishing. He's used to juggling those types of aspects of the business. I'm not used to wearing those 12 other hats that we have to wear nowadays when, we're promoting ourselves. We have our own little TV studios in our houses now, trying to, we're promoting and having our own shows and, and videos and publishing and shipping and fulfilling. And it's like, there's a whole gambit that we have to do. Yeah. I used to have a team. So it's that's one of the things that I enjoy about working with Tom is that I have a team. I mean, I'm still doing all of the creative. I wish I had I can afford to hire an entire team so I can just pencil, have a letterer, have a colorist, have a, I've got the little colorist back here. I have to pay her. That's already leaving me broke.
You gotta teach Waffle how to letter.
I put him in a sweatshop several times. He refuses.
All he does is lick his butt. It's terrible.
I know.
Let him color. Dip his tail and let him.
I know.
Color.
I put the iPad in front of him. He's just licking the screen. I'm like, that's not how you color.
So Ken is asking if Mercy belonged to Avatar at one point, and I think I kind of remember her having her own book, didn't she not?
She did. She had a very adult book at Avatar Press. But yeah, all of the other Cyber Angels, other than NIRA herself, and perhaps like her evil doppelganger of like evil NIRA, those were all exclusively Avatar Press characters at one point in time. Right. Yeah. And so when the contract did run out, I had a nice talk with the publisher, just making sure it's cool. Like, okay, like the contract has run out, everything's fine, water under the bridge.
William Christensen's still the publisher out there?
Yes, he is. Yep. And I was in contact with him as recently as last month. Just making some small talk. Also I'm coming out with a small little book. It's just a little studio edition book, and it's just basically a pinup book. I call it the Big NIRA 30 special. And it's not going to come out for months because I'm working on it very slowly. Not like books that are actually in production, like Committed Comics books that I have an actual deadline with. This one doesn't have a deadline, but it's celebrating her 30 years in comics. And it's just a tongue-in-cheek pinup book. And I wanted to put kind of like a checklist in the back of the book. So I was asking William for some help, kind of like putting together what is the official Avatar checklist for what issues came out when, because there's multiple covers and things for some of those books. So he was helping me put together a list just so I could publish it in the back of that. So I could have a more complete list. So I've lost.
Bill, since you're going to do it for her 30th anniversary,
which is already passed,
are you going to do it on her 33rd anniversary, like we did the 25th anniversry, which we released on the 27th?
Pretty much.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, this book is
woman.
And the cool thing about the book is that little by little, the whole book is basically big beauty shots of NIRA being captured by her rogues gallery of villains. That's how essentially they're saying happy birthday to her, is by capturing her in some funny, crazy way, right? So each piece in the book is actually being financed by collectors that are commissioning me to draw each of those pages. So when the book does finally come out, it's like that whole book is going to be like, all the original art is already owned by somebody.
It's already gone.
It's already gone. But it's going to be a really fun book. I would say by sometime this summer, it'll be out.
Okay. So like typical woman's birthday, she's 33. I'm 30.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
She doesn't look a day over 20.
There you go. Perfect.
Doesn't look a day over 25. We did the ground zero.
And this is coming from a woman who's lived multiple lives. So technically she's lived for 1,000 years. But in this reality, she's 33.
Yeah.
So how do people go about getting these commissions from you then?
I do like Pops was mentioning, I do a couple of live streams. Yeah, I do some live streams. I do a live stream on Saturdays at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And it's just me sketching and chatting. It's very casual. At the end of each show, typically we'll try to kind of auction off a piece of artwork, or maybe even auction off the piece of artwork that I'm working on at the moment. And people have been very patient, very kind, because some of the pieces that we've auctioned off are like, they're halfway penciled. They're not even fully inked yet. And we're auctioning it off, so there's a lot of, I appreciate the trust that people give me. So But yeah, between that and I've got an online store at billmoss.com selling some original artwork there. And so between Facebook and my website, like I get feedback from people, or people will just email me directly asking, "Oh, can I commission this particular thing or whatever?" So they kind of.
I do want to make a note that
Yes.
if you get a commission from any of the Kickstarters, you have to go through Committed Comics to facilitate those commissions.
The commissions from the Kickstarter have to go through the Kickstarter. Yes. Yeah, because Tom has to keep that list. I know. No, Tom
one person.
who
I still have not, and now he has ordered 2. He has 2 commissions that I'm still waiting on knowing what it is.
The ones. Yeah, because Tom, Tom has to keep that list straight for me because we get a long list, so it's like it can't be me having a list and then Tom having a partial list, and then we just get confused back and forth. So Tom is the brain behind the store, so we have to keep that straight for sure.
Yeah. Oh, you get people who order and then they don't tell you anything after they give you their money.
Well, no, so
I've got a guy who's ordered from multiple campains. He's never once provided his address.
Yeah. So the funny thing is,
so what do you do? It's like you just
So I mean, I have a couple of those too from NIRA. So RJ, what actually ends up happening is these guys fill it out and then they go, "Oh no, I'll talk to Bill. I talk to him all the time." And I go, "Well, that's great, but you have to come through me, because I have to schedule it and put it onto his schedule."
Right. Because then Bill will forget to tell Tom what's going on. And then Tom's like, "Did you mail something to this guy? Because I was supposed to mail something to this guy." It's like,
no, it's not you, Kevin.
Kevin is saying, "Sorry, Thomas."
Kevin's
good. I don't think it was you. I don't think it was you, Kevin. There's a couple other names.
Actually, ironically, I actually sent Kevin's books out before I got the commission, so I had to send him a second package. So that was on me. That was on me. But Kevin's good people, so I don't mind doing
Kevin's awesome, man. He's cool. He's part of the inner circle. We have.
Don't tell him I said that though.
Oh no. That's just between you and me, man. That's just between you. Yeah, we have an inner circle of people that are part of the Cyber Angel Citadel, which is another online presence that's being run by our good friend Ken. I'm looking at you, Ken. So he's Kevin. I got the package.
So yeah.
So yeah, there's a good group of people. I'm surrounded by good people. It's I've been severely blessed with the people that are actually a part of what I'm doing. So I'm if I'm as cool as the people around me, then I'm doing pretty good. So
okay, so that art right there,
sold.
He's buying it right now.
Let me get the scan first, Kevin. Okay, because
by the way, Kevin, that is the regular version of the regular cover of the regular version of the book. So that's the there's going to be probably a nude version of this, but the original artwork is going to be like this.
Did you say new or nude?
Both.
The nude version is going to be digitally made nude. Because sometimes what happens is I'll draw the original artwork where the characters are nude in the original, because there's already with the intention of having a nude cover, and then I will digitally add costume clothes.
Well, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Because then, like paper dolls.
It does. So I don't know. Maybe I'll ask. I'll ask Kevin right now. Do you want the original artwork to be nude or covered? Because
we all know his answer.
It's currently in. I know.
We know
exactly
his answer.
His answer is aforementioned.
Yes, it shall be as God made her.
She is a cyber angel.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to have to hit that store up and see about commissions, because I've got a weird. Okay, you can call it a collection, you can call it a fetish. Come say, come saw.
Exactly. Little this, little that.
See, I'm here to say that that's okay. That's
yes.
Everything's cool about that.
It's nude. Okay, we know what he wants.
All right, but the original artwork will be what you think it is. Then it'll be good.
The first convention I went to was in 1987.
Gotcha.
And this is back when comic book people went to comic book conventions.
Yeah, that was pretty much the time I think that was my second or third year that I was going to shows too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it was like I can buy sketches from independent artists, and I'm like,
they were giving them away back then.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Giving them away.
That's
true.
Oh, you're a sucker.
But they were like, who do you want me to draw? And I'm like, well, I know what you're known for.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm the asshole
Go
that's like
the other direction.
Challenge. Give me a challenge to draw somebody that you've never drawn. So I just said Batgirl. And because as a young kid,
back then, literally no one cared about Batgirl. I mean, you had Yvonne Craig and this 66 world.
She kicked off my puberty. Thank you very much.
Here.
All right. Well, I do have to address something between Kevin.
Are they fighting again?
And Ken. Yeah. They got some words. They got some words because Kevin is saying that it's sold. It's sold. So it's like only if Kevin, because Kevin did speak up first when he saw it. He didn't see the artwork until it was up on the screen. So if Kevin wants to have a bidding war between the three of them, we'll do that on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
But right now, Kevin saw it first on the screen.
Tune in on Saturday. Yeah. I've got actually something else to share to the group.
This should become a charity auction.
Yeah.
But while you're sharing that, the point of the story was that once I came back from the convention with 2 Batgirl pictures. I'm like, well, now it's a pattern. So my entire collection of original art is just different artists drawing Batgirl. Sometimes nude, sometimes not.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it depends on who the artist is.
Yeah.
Although my favorite one at a convention I saw was somebody else. He worked for Archie Comics. I don't know who it was. It might have been Dan Parent. Might have not have been. I don't know. But he was drawing all the Archie characters as the Legion of Superheroes. And it was this huge picture. And it was in color, marker color. And I said, I've never seen that kind of a mashup before, an intercompany mashup.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the weirdest thing they've ever had you draw? And he stops and he looking around, like, who's going to overhear this? He's like, okay, so like yesterday I had a guy come over and he wanted me to draw Mr. Weatherby and Miss Grundy, and she's wearing leather and spanking him. Like,
that was definitely Dan. That definitely had to be Dan. Yeah.
Kevin, I can't share the I can't share the Batgirls because they're on the wall.
Exactly.
Hanging up.
And also, this is a family-friendly show.
You know. Yeah, I remember getting free sketches even in the early '90s. We were getting free sketches.
Yeah.
I got a little J. Scott Campbell sketch. I got a Simon Beasley sketch.
I've got a Bernie,
sketches, but I mean, I love them. I was like, I love them.
I've got a Bernie. I've got a.
Well, let me tell you how good things were in the early '90s. I have an original Arthur Adams page.
Yeah.
It's up and behind me. I got an original Arthur Adams page that I bought for, I think it was $250.
Nice. Very nice.
And I'm just like, I can't even touch a marker drawing for that much from anybody nowadays, so it's like, it's amazing having an actual interior page.
So this is going to be one of the variant covers. This is probably going to be the Kickstarter exclusive variant cover for the campaign. Artwork by Tony Moy. It's a watercolor piece. And I am going to talk to my printer about making one of the colors in the myriad of colors here. Probably like that reddish as a foil, a hologram foil print on it for the cover. So, but yeah, Tony did a great job.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep. So he's been a friend of mine for a while. We wanted to work together. And so when the last campaign ended, I was just like, do you have time in your schedule? He's like, right now I do. And I was like, do this.
It's like, perfect.
Good time to call.
Yeah. So I literally have been holding on to this one, and again, the people who backed the Kickstarter, I shared it with them as one of the updates, secret updates kind of deal.
Yeah, I like the way that the cyber skin was handled, and it's like I really like when an artist really does their own take. It's like don't draw it. It's like it's still the character. It's like it's still who she's supposed to be, but really like your own vision or your own take on the character. Because I mean, if anybody's a fan of any particular artist, you want to buy like what comes out of their mind. You know, you want to buy their style, their ideas.
And that's exactly the kind of collection I got. I wanted to see, you know, how you would interpret this different character that's not generally yours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you know, the way this guy did.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen that guy before.
Sometimes he draws that, you know, sometimes he draws that.
There you go.
Yeah, NIRA is representing the madness.
That's right. That was an
I thought for a minute
sticker.
that she kind of like, you know, splattered it out there, but no, she's kneeling in front of it, not on top of it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was an exclusive sticker for the last campaign. Yep. And Pops actually has 1 or 2 extra stickers. I don't know if he's ever done a giveaway with that for, you know, some of the Madness shows, but I did send him a couple extra.
Were they die cut or were they square cut?
Oh. Nope, die cut. Die cut.
Pops, I send you stuff all the time, and you haven't sent me a sticker. Come on.
Well, actually,
I love the die cut. The die cut character stickers are like that's.
Was the regular one die cut or was the nude one? I think the nude one was just square. The regular one was die cut.
I don't know because I don't have my comp copies yet.
What are you talking about? I did send. Did I not send those to you? I might not have.
I don't have any yet.
That might be in the box in my living room.
This is where we work out business in front of everybody.
Is it in a box with my extra coins?
It's in a very large box, actually. I was going to send it out, but it was packed way heavier than I thought it was. So I was like, let me throw it in a larger box to make sure it doesn't get dinged off to the side. So it put into a FedEx box. I just haven't had a chance to actually get it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because when I get the coins. Oh, and a side note here is I realize this is just like only directed at Tom, but I did contact the person about some metal cards.
Okay, you heard back.
Yeah, she emailed me back that she was checking. See, I have RJ. Just so you know, I have something coming out when I actually have it completely put together. I have something I call the 30-year loot box, and it's essentially 30 years of miscellaneous trading cards that I've worked on since day one. So like the very first NIRA X trading card, the actual trading card from back then. I actually happen to have like an extra stack of it. So there's all these different cards like throughout the years, plus new ones. There's going to be some original sketch cards filed into it. There's going to be some gold NIRA X coins that I've painted and scratched and made it, distressed them so make them look like old coins.
Well, this is the perfect time to release those because gold coins and pirates kind of
that's what the gold coins are actually from. It's from our first Kickstarter for issue 1 of Dark Seas. But the ones that everybody got with that actually got those solid gold heavy coins, but they're brand spanking new. So what I do is I'll take the coin and give it the old artisan treatment, and I paint it black so all the crevices and stuff of the logo gets all blacked out, and then
you can only get from Bill. So this is a reason to go to his website.
See? So the 30 and the box it's a little card box. It's a little sleeve slide box specifically for the 30-year loot box. There's only going to be 54 of these boxes produced, and it's packed with as many trading cards and stuff throughout the years, plus some original cards, maybe a metal card. So it's a little mix of things. It's going to be 54 boxes because I turned 54 because lo and behold, it's my birthday.
You found a way to clean out that desk drawer, didn't you?
Yeah,
I did. Every single card box and card folder, I dug into everything, and it's all going. It's all stuck in this.
So I'll send you the rest of the ones that we did for Reborn for your card set. I still have like a half a box of those, so I'll just send those to you.
Perfect. That'd be awesome.
You should be running an auction right now. We could be taking money.
Right.
I know if they're ready right now, but I still have to draw a lot of the original art sketch cards, and the original art sketch cards aren't going to be just NIRA X cards. They're going to be cards from different sets that I've worked on: Vampirella, Witchblade, Red Sonja, all the different Cherry. There's all the different little popular sets that have been out in the past decade or so. I've got a lot of blanks from those sets just because I put them away. I was busy doing other things. So now it's like, that would be cool to have all of these kind of like a little surprise item, stuck in the box.
Yeah.
So do you have do you have these kind of items that we don't, because these are all the collected from over the years, but
yes.
number 2, Dark Seas coming out. Do you have new items that nobody knows about yet that are going to be, hey, here's the tchotchkes that we're going to have on this campaign?
So that's a conversation that me and Bill have started, but haven't really
we haven't
out
solidified the list. Yeah. Tom puts together such a good amount of loot. Like we had the gold coins, we had the mouse pad with the 3D boobies
and butt.
In the butt.
Mouse pad and the butt.
We had the pillowcase. Yeah, yes. There you go.
Yep.
And that was a checklist item for me. It's like I really want to have one of those with NIRA X. That would be so.
And then we had
you got the waifu pillowcase already?
Well, I was going to say we have the pillowcase, double-sided. One side's nude, one side's regular.
No, that's not how you do it. They're nude on both sides. One side's front, one side's back. Come on.
There you go. That's true. That's true.
That could be for issue 2.
That could be for issue 2. So it's very possible. Very possible. See, I know that Kat would like to do a pillowcase of like the regular version, like a clothed version. So maybe I will do a nude version. So that way there's a nude complete pillowcase and there's a costume.
And Kevin, that answers the question of what booty we were talking about in the song.
Right. Yes. There you go.
Exactly.
I do know that we're going to have, as an add-on for the campaign, it's just a matter of me doing the last bits of it, is going to be a new NIRA X enamel pin.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So
we did talk about that.
You said new.
New artwork.
No, new. NEW.
NEW.
Yeah, because she has a cool logo with an N that's kind of like very like a sharp metal pointy N, kind of like a Batman-esque kind of shape to it. So it's like it really makes a cool design when you put it inside of a circle or on a coin, like
right, which is what we did.
Have you done the action figure 3D statue thing?
So we had an action figure way back in the day with Skybolt. I have slowly broached that. To me, that would need to be its own campaign for what I would want to do.
Right.
I have seen some people doing some 3D printed ones and that kind of stuff, and I and as add-ons to their campaigns, I would like to do. If I'm going to do that, it's going to be a full package, bubbled, the whole 9 yards, and that will be its own Kickstarter because, when I do stuff, since I am also a fan of comic books, like Bill was saying beforehand, and a fan of Kickstarter, stuff like that, I'm not going to do something that just comes in a plastic bag, because when I look at it, it needs to be its own.
We want to make it an event, because I mean, it represents not just the character, it represents the company, it represents the publisher. And it's like, and we're collectors, it's like, we don't want to just have something that you're going to throw in a drawer. And it's just like, all right, well, that was a cool extra. It's like, no, this is the NIRA X action figure.
Right. And we have plenty of those items that are cool extras that people will just throw into a drawer. We have plenty of those too. The other thing, which I think might be a further out stretch goal on the campaign, is the bottle opener.
Right.
The die cut bottle opener.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
So, or die cut keychain. Can't decide which way I want to go with that.
The keychain would be kind of cool, just that round. And
no, I was actually thinking of the image on the back of Ground Zero, the silhouette.
Oh, the silhouette would be dope. Yeah.
So
that's a cutie.
You can use part of the silhouette as a bottle opener.
Well, that was originally what my plan was going to be.
So
I've already got the manufacturer for that. It's just a matter of, do we want to do that? Do we want to do, other things? And then,
but if we can do an action figure or a statue, like an anime kind of quality statue, it's like, that would be amazing. You'll hear from me immediately.
Well, if you kept up with White Widow, what Jamie Tyndall has done with his stuff. I'm good friends with Jamie, and I've already talked to him about who he got to do his statue. So
cool.
And that statue looks like a Boeing fucking statue. It is like straight up gorgeous. and huge. So, and sold.
and sold.
And sold.
So there is a NIRA X statue in the future, just
potentially, yes.
On the
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Need to write manufacturer.
Here's the thing again. When me and Bill met years and years ago at San Diego Comic-Con, we were sitting next to each other in Artist Alley, which is when this whole publishing agreement kind of got started. I was already a fan of his work. I already had a whole bunch of his stuff, and I had a whole bunch of old NIRA issues at home and that kind of stuff. And so I am a fan of this character as well. So if I can facilitate something like the booby mouse pad, or like the, like you said, that was something you wanted, just like, and we're not going to say the name, but the aforementioned artist who I talked to you over this past weekend, who was on your short list, of variant cover artists, like, if I can facilitate that, I'm going to, because
that's
again,
awesome.
It makes it cool for me to have in my Committed Comics archive,
Excellent. So, all is going according to plan.
So I think you're right. I think issue 3 will be the secret variant cover artist person. So, and then we'll find another one for issue, of the next miniseries. But
right, exactly. Okay. We got so many plans.
Has a life size one. How'd that happen?
I mean,
was it 2019 life size NIRA X?
No.
Well, we had 2 cosplayers come out from Australia.
No, Tom went over and above. 2 live models from Australia, one of which that I was already loosely following on the internet, stalking, looking at, whatever you want.
Drooling over, same difference.
Tomato.
Yeah, exactly. Right clicking constantly every time I see her pop up on my feed, that kind of thing. And I'm just like, you got that person?
Yeah.
Get the heck out of here. It's like, I'll be in San Diego. Give me a car.
Yeah. So that was
that was a bucket list item for sure.
Again, I mean, like I said, I'm a fan too. So like when Bill says like, oh, I'd love to have this, or is this an option? Or why not? If I can make it happen, I'm going to make it happen.
But it's even since
you're welcome, Ken and Kevin.
ever since the beginning, when I was a kid, I used art as a way of. That's how I made friends. That's how I made connections with people. That's how, because as being an artist, you hang out with people that you have no other earthly reason to hang out with sometimes. And with me and Tom, it's easy. We have so many different things that we both like. So we're like-minded people. A lot of people that collect the book or collect the artwork, we're very like-minded people. But there's also a lot of people that I make friends with that are, they're higher ups in the Navy or I have no other reason to be friends with these people. And then we find this little common ground. So that's why I talk to, like, even my friends that are, I consider them friends. Ken, Kevin, Chet.
Well, slow down. Slow your roll. I don't know.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. It's like I feel like I don't have fans. I feel like I have friends that support my habit.
Yeah.
So what do you mean bring the Cyber Angels back?
He's referring to the girls. Let me see if I can find a picture of them.
Yes, please do.
Wow, RJ, that
was heartfelt. That was heartfelt.
Wait, sorry. Go ahead. Bring it up. I think people like to see them.
Yeah, specifically, we did have a book at Avatar that was just called Cyber Angels, and it was just a book that the stories were all revolving around different Cyber Angels in that world, as opposed to just following NIRA's adventures. NIRA, I think of her, she's like my Spider-Man character. She's like my Spawn character. Like when I have a book that's focused on her, this is her adventure, her ordeal to deal with, not necessarily dealing with like all these other characters that kind of back her up or, mysteriously show up here and there, whatever. So we did have a book that was just about the Cyber Angels or about different Cyber Angels specifically. Like we had a Mercy series. So I think that's what he's talking about.
No, he's referring to this. This is what he's referring to because
Tales of the Cyber Angels. Yep, that was the title. Yep.
It's like Tales of the Green Lantern Corps because you had so many of them. Why not tell
stories?
Why not?
Right, exactly. There you go.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, they were awesome. They were so cool. And there's like, and talking with them and having them at the show, they were just like the coolest.
Yeah.
Just the coolest. It was really fun to hang out with them. We did this photo shoot up on the mezzanine of the convention center. It looks really cool because the way the building is shaped, it looks like a sci-fi background anyway.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Great. I mean, you know, when you come up with boots like that, that takes some crafting. I love those put their work into it.
Those two girls were like award-winning level cosplay. Like they were not.
Oh yeah.
Like they were doing it full time for their profession at the time.
Yeah, you have Amy October and you have Beak Jacoba. It's spelled phonetically just the way I said it.
But yeah, it's Becky.
It's Becky. But I always pronounce it Beak when I'm telling, so that you know how to spell it. So it's Beke Jacob.
Yeah, so that way you can find her.
Yeah, exactly. Type. Yeah, but they were both amazing, and I was impressed, so impressed because like a lot of the all of the little pieces on the costume, they 3D printed all that stuff. They really went all the way with making the costumes.
Let me do this one.
And see, Tom, this is where I have to throw out the suggestion that Kevin's going to say sold to. Cosplay covers.
So here's the very interesting thing about that. I have been in contact over the years, and so how long have we been doing this, Bill? For 6 years now, roughly, since Ground Zero.
Yeah, just right after the pyramids were formed. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I've been in touch and facilitated and started probably about 4 to 5 different cosplayers to do their versions of NIRA and that kind of stuff, and every single one of them has flaked. Yeah. I mean, and talking about like these photos are, we did one photo shoot with these girls. I have one image. We probably will use it as a variant cover. I was using it as promo material at the time during that San Diego. But yeah, I mean, I've been in contact with numerous other cosplayers, and it just every single one of them just flaked out.
It's difficult to schedule, to arrange. I mean, they've got a complex life as far as their business life and whatever it is that they're doing creatively. So fitting things into the schedule, and then if something lingers 3 seconds, they move right along. It's like the train keeps on moving. So
yeah,
it's difficult.
Sure. I was going to suggest Kara Nicole.
No, I know Kara. I know Kara. Yeah, I mean, again, I know. I mean, one of the early cosplayers who actually Committee Comics did actually work with was Lessa Michelle, and she was there starting with Jessica Nagiri. I mean, she was right up there with Jessica, starting at the same time frame.
And we actually used her on the cover of our preview book.
The preview book. So we have, and it's just, again, it's one of those things to where they either are fully invested on their own world, and so if you don't catch them in that perfect window like I did with Tony, it doesn't work. And for cosplayers, most of the time their window is right around October, November, which is when I have no shows going on. I don't have a ton of stuff going because they don't have any shows going on. They don't have a ton of stuff going on, right? So it becomes that scenario to where it just in the past hasn't worked out.
If I could afford plane tickets from Australia,
I mean, that's also part of the problem.
I'd get Becky again. Exactly.
Becky and Amy live out in Australia, so
even
a bit of a challenge.
Even if I could ask Becky to do some photo shoots, even from where she's at in Australia, and then I would be more than happy to let her sell as many photos as she wanted to. For herself.
So trust me, I have
all that sort of all the ins and outs of that. That's your brain. That's your brain that does all that.
She has moved on now, and she's doing marketing and presentation for MMA out in Australia.
Oh wow, MMA.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So
all right.
Yeah, so she's not really doing cosplay anymore. So again, it's this world to where
and you got to move where the money's at. And that's
and I also I got them to come out from Australia at the perfect time. They wanted to schedule a trip to
that was
Disneyland.
already miracle level.
Yeah. It was funny, actually. I told
Tom
Bill,
used all of his powers.
It was one of those things too where it was in the works. It was in the works. We weren't sure. We weren't sure. We weren't sure. And then once they actually bought their plane tickets, I was like, "Hey, Bill, guess what we're gonna have San Diego."
Yeah, he was smart not to tell me until he knew for sure. He didn't want to see me crying at the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day would have been like, are they still coming?
Right. Yeah.
So they're still coming, right?
Yeah. I actually had to leave the show early on Thursday, halfway through the day, to pick them up at the airport at San Diego.
That's the lengths you go to. That's the lengths. That's what you got to do.
It was rough to have to go hang out with two gorgeous women.
Yep.
You know.
From another timeline.
So yeah.
So we're launching on February the 18th.
Correct.
When are we holding? When are we going to hold?
Oh, when are we delivering? Oh, gotcha.
I've got the time frame because so here's the thing which we've run into, and this is the one thing I've learned just for myself, because again, most of the majority, once the project is done, the campaign is done, it's me doing it pretty much solo, ordering all the stuff, facilitating, getting all the stuff together. And I'm also the one who goes out and does all the shows and all the conventions.
Yeah.
So
he's a one-man army.
Yeah. So if you think about it, one-man army corps, thank you very much. I'm OMAC. It's from what the time frame of everything being done, the campaign, I've got it set for delivery and in people's hands by September, only because of the fact that in theory, I'll probably be mailing them out in June, but I don't want to commit to that because of the fact that I have shows in June and then we have San Diego in July.
Yeah.
And so, the last
thing is, I'm always a big fan.
July.
Yeah,
and then
I'm always a big fan of padding the time anyway, because if you deliver early, that's a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and you're padding it realistically. It's not like you're padding it for it'll be delivered in 2027. It's like
right, and that's what we were able to deliver early on Reborn,
right?
Too, because Reborn was already drawn, and then unfortunately with Dark Seas 1, we definitely fell behind. So I want to like Bill was saying, he's already starting to work on pages. He's already drawing it.
Exactly.
Like we're hoping by the time we launch, he's got at least all the pencil work and all the ink work done. For the issue. And so that's the plan.
So you schedule sort of like the Montgomery Scott way. You double it, then you add 10%, and then you finish it on time and look like a miracle worker.
Exactly.
And now I'm stuck in a transporter. Wait, no, hold on.
Damn it. We don't have 5 minutes, Scotty.
How long will it really take you? It'll take me 2 days. Are you daft, lad?
I know. April, May, I'll be finished. It's like, but it'll be much nicer to deliver early. And just be very upfront with, okay, we're padding it. Because not only that, there's those logistical, practical, physical reasons that Tom wants to put in that extra time, which totally makes sense. But there's also the added thing of, even though I'll be done with the book fairly soon after the campaign closes, I've got commissions to do to add to a lot of those backers. So that's fresh work to be done. That's fresh work that takes a month at least.
Right, and we can't even get that from them because I don't want to send out the surveys too early because I've done that in the past, and I've gotten their stuff. But then then next thing you know, half the people are changing their address or they're changing something or and so it becomes a scenario to where I'm just like,
adding commissions as a tier as into the mix adds that extra bit of gear turning.
So Tom, what is NIRA X the core of Committed Comics? I mean, what other titles are you working on?
So I literally just finished the campaign for my own book, Tales from the Asylum, which is what I'm writing, and it's actually being in production. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries-ish. And then I've also got I'm doing a remastered version of one of our older miniseries with new covers and new additional content. So that again, that's a little bit easier, but at the same time, I'm also the one who has to do all the digital pre-press on it. I am also the one who has to do all of the tweaking and fixing the lettering and finding the person to do this and finding the person to go out and do this. So, but I mean, majority of the projects that we actually have at Committed Comics are completed. And Tales from the Asylum, NIRA, and I have one or two newer projects in the chamber that will be coming out. But yeah, I mean, essentially NIRA and Tales from the Asylum are kind of going to be our ongoing bread and butter moving forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole company doesn't
spreading it out, or
no. I mean, I mean, that's kind of the thing. So, like, definitely when we were planning the Kickstarters, you know, I was talking to Bill, and I was like, okay, well, when are you going to go? When do you think you're going to be ready to go? Because I want to do mine. I mean, my book, you know, I had went back and forth and kept on going, you know, pushing it off, and I was planning to launch my Kickstarter in June of this past year, and it didn't launch until December because, you know, other moving things, and I kept on tinkering with it, you know. So, yes,
Kevin.
Artists
Yes,
are already committed,
indeed,
or should be.
definitely should be.
Yeah. But then, you know, then the other thing is I do portfolio reviews every year. It shows all over the country. And there's been plenty of times where I've gotten somebody and they have an amazing project and they're ready to go. Right. And so immediately I have to figure a way to facilitate them into the workflow. But again, the workflow is me, you know, so
limitations of one person doing everything.
And I also have, you know, essentially two day jobs. So
so what you're saying is you're bored most of the time with nothing to do all
just
day
sitting around.
What he's saying is that he's got his computer turned towards the door at the office, so he's like, comics, boss.
Yeah.
Comics.
Pretty much.
There you go.
I'm here. I've done that.
Oh yeah.
It's like packing. Oh, we got a meeting.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, is that all?
Camera off.
No big deal.
What are you doing,
And
John?
then I also do, you know, I mean, Committed Comics will do anywhere between 5 to 8 shows a year, you know. And so, I mean, there was one year that it was every other month I was at a show, and then 2 in June and 2 in November, you know. So, and then
busy.
Yeah. No, and most of the shows most of the shows I do are not local either. I'm flying to them, you know.
Yeah.
So
we have NWA Con here. That's Northwest Arkansas. In case you thought you'd come up and see Ice Cube or something.
I was thinking National Wrestling Association.
Naturally,
of course, we all did. And then we have Bentonville Con, and like most cons, like the big cons, again, my cons I went to started in 87, 88, and you went into the great big room, and there's like hanging from the ceiling, DC Bullet, Marvel Bullet, Archie was there, and now it's like, you know, hey, it's a Comic-Con, we've got some anime voice actors, and
it's but again, you know, the funny thing is this is the mindset I have, and again, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had great shows, I've had horrible shows, you know. I've had shows where I've sold out of everything, you know. Pretty much the only requirement the show has is to bring people into the building. That's it. Everything else is then on me. And I, you know, I was given great opportunities at certain shows and crushed it. I was given opportunities at other shows and failed miserably. And I know 100% why at certain things, you know. And so, oh my God, Kevin, really?
He's coming up with an NWA meeting. That's another whole convention, and I would go.
I would go to that too. In all honesty. Yeah.
Straight out of Little Rock.
Straight out of Little Rock. But you know, I mean,
we had a Little Rock convention.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've railed all the time about how conventions have become celebrity magnets, and I'm like, I don't go there for that. But when Little Rock convention happened last summer, like, how long is William Shatner going to be with us? So
that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
I went. Yes,
Makes
I
blew
the money for that 3.5 second walk in, snap your shot, walk out.
I've been very fortunate.
I can't say
I've met Bill numerous times over the year. Again, you know, it's because of the fact of how many shows I do and how many places I've been. You know, I mean, it's just nutty. But yeah, I mean, again, it's they just need to get people in the door. And granted, there are definitely shows that are better for small press, you know, than others. Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City It has been absolutely incredible for small press. You know, they have a huge comic book guest list, but at the same time, they also have a huge entertainment guest list. And I look at it and I go like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to run away from my table during this time and this time because I want to meet that person, and I need to get this person's autograph, and I need to, you know, I mean, like last year they had Garth Ennis at the show, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I need to get all of my preachers signed. Like,
that was me at the 87, 88 conventions. Was like me, my Chevy Chevette, and 800 pounds of comics in the back because I loaded every long box. I didn't know who was going to be there. I'd run up to my hotel room and start pull this, and just.
I mean, I was lucky. Most of the shows I was going to, I was living in New York at the time, and so there was always people who I knew were going to be there. I always knew, you know, it's a lot of the smaller shows. You know, Jimmy Palmiotti, Joe Quesada, they were always going to be there because they lived in Brooklyn. You know, and so they would literally just take the train in and just hang out. Same thing with Nelson DeCastro. You know, and then we had tons of people. You know, just the guests that they would fly in. You know, and Mike Zeck, I think, lived in Connecticut at the time, so he was always there. You know, Bernie lived in upstate New York. He would always be at shows.
Sure.
So,
and you know, the other thing I miss about it now is that when I went in 80, 87 and 80, I got this Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told, the hardcover that they put out.
The hardcover of the leather bound. Yep, the Frank Miller cover.
Yeah, that thing, Dave Dorman cover is the one I've.
Was it? Oh, okay. That might have been the. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's It was with the.
And then I think not Simon Bisley.
No, it was
like Simon Bisley before he did the Joker cover.
Yeah, Brian Boland.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got the fish.
Yes. Well, that's the paperback. I've got the hardcover where it's more of a. It's a different card. It's a different artist. I can't remember who it was, but that thing reads like a funeral book now. Because I could take it and you just walked up to people and said, hey, would you? They're like, yeah. So it's like Dick Giordano, Denny O'Neil, Jim Aparo, Sheldon Moldoff, all these names are on there. And it's like, you know, last con I went to, it was like, oh, this person's going to be there. I have a book that I really like that they did. And I went there and I'm like, are you doing signings? They're like, yes, we are. Like, okay, I want to get this one signed. They're like, oh, that'd be $50.
Yep.
$50.
Yeah, well, that's Neil Adams. Anyway,
but I only bought the book.
You know what the funny thing is that I mean, that's definitely the culture, which I don't, you know, I mean, part of me sits there and says like, well, they shouldn't do that, and part of me sits there and says, well, you know, they need to supplement their income somehow, right? And so it's this double-edged sword, and you have all these things like people who sit there and just come do book signings for gradings, you know, and that's all they care is just flipping the book. You know, the one book I bring with me to every big show that I go to, with, you know, that has an extensive list of creators, is Jack Kirby Heroes and Villains. They did a Black Magic edition, as they called it, which a whole bunch of people inked Kirby over photocopies. I bring that to shows, and you know, I mean, I've gotten Frank Miller, Jim Lee, you know, Dave Stevens, you know, you know. Like a whole bunch of people.
Dave Stevens' rainbow hanging on my wall right there.
Oh, nice. Yes. I watched that man sketch in '92 in San Diego. And it was like he was talking to someone and looked like he was bored, and he was just churning out this incredible piece. It was like a girl like coming out of a car. And he was just like, yeah, so what's going on? Yeah.
Like, how about those Knicks? Huh?
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
My arm's just moving autonomously on its own. You know, I just let the heart out.
It's the same thing when you watch Wrightson, you know, Bernie's just sitting there doing little weird sketches and stuff. It's just like, oh my God, all of your sketches I need them all. So,
yeah.
But like Bill said, we can't afford any of them now, sadly.
I want that. I don't think it was Wrightson who did it. That House of Secrets '92. I don't think that was Wrightson who did that first Swamp Thing cover.
Yes, it was. No, it
was it Wrightson?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He used Louise Simonson as the model for the girl.
Exactly. Yeah, yes. I'd want both of them to sign it if I could have done that.
Yeah. So that's actually my last Grail book that I want to get for my own personal collection. Is, you know, I literally picked up one of the other Grail books this past weekend in Portland that I wanted, and it wasn't even a very high price book. It was the Double Life of Private Strong #1, which was a Kirby piece, and it was one of the MLJ old Archie books from back in the day.
Yeah, that's back when they did the Shield and the Fox. And
yes, yeah, that's what it was. It was basically the Shield, yeah. And so, but it was only like $50. But again, it was one of a grail for me that I hadn't seen, in 25 years ago in the shows. So
my grails are getting more and more expensive every year.
Well, yeah, House of Secrets 92. That's like I said, that's my last grail. I mean, the other grails I have that I wanted in my collection, I've got. But again, I also don't care about Avengers 1. I'm good. I don't need an Avengers 1. I've got 92 reprints of it. I'm good.
I think my favorite grail. I've got the Grail books I own. I've had framed, not slabbed, mind you. Took them to an artisan and had them framed. So I've got I can't remember the actual issue numbers, but I've got the first appearance of Betty Kane as Batgirl and the first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl in a double frame with a nice little tags under it.
Cool.
I've got the Flash issue where it's the first Reverse Flash appearance. And then probably the most expensive of them all is I've got Green Lantern number 40, which is Hal Jordan and Alan Scott in a power ring battle on the cover.
Okay,
It's the very first mention in
the
DC
Guardians,
Comics of the not just the Guardians, but of the creation of the multiverse. It's the story of Krona looking back and seeing the
so that predates JLA 21.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which I also have.
Yeah, so do I. I have 21, 22. Those were my very early grails that I got, thankfully.
I loved all the Crisis books.
Yeah, and then my other grails.
And we're not talking anything about NIRA X anymore here. So
no. We're just talking comics. Yeah.
Always fun. But
I'm glad Tom was able to make it at all. It's like I didn't. I was kind of getting worried that you might not be able to make it.
No. I told you I'd make it. I didn't tell you I'd be on time, but I told you I'd make it.
That's right.
Well, if you want to make it to one of the
I can depend on Tom. I know.
Kevin wants to know if you're sketching at your table right
now. You know what? I can show you what I was sketching because I'm actually sketching page 2 of the story of the book.
Hold it back up. Hold it back up.
Here you go. I'll
wait. Yeah, he's gonna switch the camera.
We just saw like a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, that's pretty much where he's at this point. If you look, he hasn't done
almost sold.
It's a blank piece of paper.
One blank piece of paper. Yeah, I've got essentially. Here's page 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed an establishing shot of picking up where the other issue left off. Yeah. So NIRA and Mercy and their newfound
friend. Yep,
their newfound friend, which is actually an old character from the old Avatar stories.
Oh.
His name is Scribe, and he lives in this out of the way place where he's sort of he's not the Watcher. He's not like omnipresent, but he knows so much. He collects scrolls and books, and he just knows so much. So I needed a character that would be really good for exposition. And plus, he's a
historian.
Yeah, he's the historian. So he's not omnipresent. He's not got special powers or anything like that. He's just a different species of humanoid, and he likes to collect and read and be well versed in what's happening in the world around him, and whatever it is he learns, he just wants to learn everything. So I needed a character for exposition that would help the girls along as far as where they were going, where they were headed.
NIRA was sitting for a really long time while he was doing that, so she has to stand up and stretch.
She's got to stand up and stretch. Absolutely.
Stand up and stretch. I mean, with the ocean behind her there in that pose and the hair blowing, I can hear her saying, "I don't know when, I don't know how,
but I know something's happening right now."
But something is going on. They're headed somewhere.
Guys. I'm gonna pop out for 1 second. Hold on.
Okay. And half of the ship is still when you see the coloring, it'll still be like charred, like it's still on fire from the fight. And there's some dead zombie pirate characters kind of strewn about from the fight that ended the last issue. So Scribe is going to help them along. The last issue ended with NIRA finding. So you see, NIRA's finding bits and pieces of all the other timelines that she's been to. So one thing that she discovered was one of these zombies was wielding a sword, and the sword belongs to her father. So one of the reasons they want to continue across this triangle and go through all this danger is because if there's a possibility that he's still alive, that he's somewhere that where she can get to him and can get him back, that she'll go through that trouble and try to make that happen. So Scribe actually they helped him out because he was actually trapped underneath the ship. He was in the brig underneath the ship. And he's like, I saw the guy that was holding that sword. Like, I've seen him. Like, I can guide you to him. I know where he was or where he is. Kevin, yes, I burned the USS Green.
he wants you to turn the page sideways so it looks like NIRA's on her back. Suggesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody has
There
this
you
running
go.
joke. Everybody who comes to my table for commissions, every time I go to a show, it's just like, oh, if Bill just turns any piece of artwork that he's drawn sideways, it becomes porn.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh crap, you guys are right.
You could like cut out that image digitally and just lay it across a 3D asset of a couch, and
and she would just be chilling.
yeah. Anybody who knows.
Anybody who knows. If you're inside the circle, you know what's going on. So we got Scribe. He's looking at this map, and so this is where the story picks up. This is where we're starting. So I'm thinking, these pencils are going to take me till. Well, they'll definitely take me to the end of the month, and then I'll start inking and coloring. So during the campaign, I'll probably be coloring and or lettering. We'll just see how the time
doing
goes.
secret backer only limited page reveals.
It's true.
So that way that
Yeah, because I'll be
really
doing it.
know.
Because even on my streams on Saturdays, I'll probably be working on a little bit of it. I usually work on new artwork on my Saturday streams because I like to auction it off at the end of the stream, so that way people can get their hands on a piece of art. But this will be cool. Kevin says, "What 3D pillow? What 3D pillow?
Yeah.
All the bumps and valleys." That would just be a completely stuffed character at that point, right? It would just be.
Well, there's a company in Japan that.
Isn't there always?
Oh, trust me, guys. I already know these guys.
There's always a company in Japan.
I know them all.
Just give them the face and dimensions, and NIRA X can be shipped to your house.
There you go.
So Bill, what's your pace when it comes to a page? I mean,
You know what? It really depends. When I've got the pictures, I play the story as I'm writing and as I'm kind of thumbnailing things out. Let me see if I got my sketchbook here. I'll show you a little bit of what I'm talking about when it comes to. I mean, these aren't actual thumbnails from the thing, but I'll thumbnail out pages like this, just real quick stick figures, and I keep on playing it and replaying it in my head, kind of like a movie. And I do that until, I get the movie that I think is the coolest, or I see the scene the way that I would like. Like in this scene, obviously, I wanted an excuse to draw NIRA standing like this. So I'm like, okay, cool. Establishing shot. We're on the ship. We're headed somewhere. We're asking some questions. But yeah, the process is, it depends from page to page, especially if I'm running into a transition where the characters are doing one thing and then we're transitioning into a new scene or into a new area or into a new background. That might take a little bit longer just to try and figure out, because maybe it's the scene is cloudy in my head still.
And Kevin, we didn't burn down the USS Green. So
I know,
worried about his heritage.
I named the ship the USS Green
after Kevin.
He supports me so well; it's the least I can do.
Christen a ship in his honor.
There you go.
Well, one of the really cool things that we've done, like for instance, Chet has supported us so much over there. He's become like he's closer to us than family. He's such a good friend, but he's supported us. And one of the things that we've done is one of his creator-owned characters, is actually a main character in the NIRA X story now. And throughout NIRA X Reborn, there's a character named Thalia, and she is a cyber demon, and she's basically a new villain for the Cyber Angel. She kind of like dubbed herself as a Cyber Angel hunter, only because out of anger at the end of the book, because she was defeated at the end of the book. But she's not dead. She's not gone. She's coming back. In fact, she's vowed to kill any Cyber Angel she runs across, because of her hatred towards NIRA and the Cyber Angel friends that defeated her in that Reborn series. And that's Chet's character, like straight up and down. So
it makes sense that if there's Cyber Angels, there would be Cyber Demons.
There's cyber demons. Like I said, I have a 90s mindset for this book.
and that series is available on committedcomics.com.
Exactly. And Chet also inspired really bringing out evil NIRA from the background. You know, it's like having a doppelganger, having an evil version of your main character is such, you know, like having the evil Michael Knight with the goatee or evil Spock. We grew up with loving.
NIRA doesn't have a mustache, so
no. Luckily, she doesn't have no evil mustache to twirl.
You bring up Michael Knight, and of course, you know, everybody knows the voice of Kit.
That's right.
I was watching an old show that came up to me recently called Captain Nice. It came out the year after Batman, and it was William Daniels, but he was like 20 something, and so like, you know, and it was written by Buck Henry, who co-wrote the Get Smart stuff, so it's all the Get Smart humor.
Gotcha.
So he's wearing you've got to look up Captain Nice. It's public. It's not public domain, but you can find it on archive.org. Just watch it.
I'm sure there's parts of it on YouTube as well, you know.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. It's, you know, it's 60s hilarious.
Right.
Like, you know, the cricks are getting ready to go rob the bank in the first episode, and they're like, so if things go bad, you knock out the guard, you hold the gun on the teller, you make sure that you kick all the people into the back of the vault, but above all, no violence.
Right.
right.
Thanks, man. TV practice the standards.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just weird hearing Kit's voice as a younger version.
And a bad guy.
Well, no, he was the good guy.
Oh, he was a good
Captain
guy.
Nice is the good guy. Yeah. He's the greatest American hero. Same kind of loose-fitting costume. Gets getting tangled around his neck.
Right. That is awesome.
And just such silliness. Now we're inking.
Yeah. Oh no, he's doing pencil still. He's tightening them up.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
It just look darker.
Well, yeah, he needs to tighten up so he knows where he's going with his inks. He don't know nothing when he's drawing.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I got to interview Tom Batchick in person, and of course, I brought the first 3 volumes of the Complete Funky Winkerbean, which I had, because I was just going to get him signed. Yeah. And he pulls out a Sharpie when we're done, and I was like, yeah, could you? And he opens it up to the first page, and he starts drawing. I was like,
oh, jeez.
With a Sharpie?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I can do this in my sleep. So I got 3 Funky Winkerbean heads on each of the books.
Oh, that's
there.
so
I'm
funny.
Like,
nice.
He's so cool, man.
Sweet.
Nice. Yeah,
it just amazes me to do that.
Yeah, I watched Randy Emberlin remark my Amazing Spider-Man 3. Was it 332 or 362? The second appearance of Carnage. And he remarked a Spider-Man head with paint pens and Sharpie, and just did it while we were talking.
That's confidence.
And it's just funny because, again, I mean, he inked Spider-Man for years, right? So he's drawn that head.
That's what it is, man.
So many times.
Kids love confidence.
Yep. So
if you've inked Spider-Man and come out of it the other side, you can ink anything. I mean,
yeah,
I would look at it as a kid and, you know, preteen still trying to draw superheroes that I saw. I would start to draw Spider-Man. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
There's way too many web lines on this costume.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like Spider-Man unless all those webs are there.
Yeah.
It's like they have to be there.
And they have to follow the contours of a body. They can't be straight lines.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't work either.
You can thank Romita for that one, because if you actually look at a lot of the Ditko ones, he left half of them off. Because Ditko was like, "Screw you, this takes too long."
Yeah, it can't be straight lines like my parody press version of Spider-Man. It just because I draw the webs more like it's a screen door pattern, just squares.
Well, he's Spooder Man, so what do you expect?
He's just a big potato.
Yeah.
Butterman.
I remember when we did like a Rasta version of Spider-Man, and we called him Spider-Emon. I thought he was great.
So here's the thing about 90s superheroines. Did they not know you could buy scrunchies at Walgreens? Because you gotta fight. You gotta see what you're doing, and your hair is always in your eyes.
Always is. But it's either that or it's hair sprayed up, right? So that was the other kicker. There's a lot of hairspray used in the 90s.
Oh yeah. Well, there was a glut left over from the 80s.
Right. I'm gonna have a scene where she's just taken off to the side, and she's like, "It's in my contract for my hair to look really, really cool."
Or just pan to the left, and there's like this, just a comic Bill Mouse over there holding the big fan and going in her direction.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like some Naked Gun humor.
Yes, exactly. I love that stuff.
No, you can draw me in there because I've already shown up in 3 of the other comic books that Committee Comics has published doing that exact type of thing.
Perfect.
We have to make that happen.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. So that's silly. That is silly, but yeah.
But it's comics. That's what makes
exactly.
it fun.
I mean, that's the fun of it, right? That's why we're doing all this goofy stuff. Because why not?
And there's always a sense of humor behind like NIRA's. The tone of NIRA's book always has a little bit of a sense of humor to it. It takes itself seriously to a point. You know what I mean? Like it knows that it's just escapist fun.
Now, Kevin's asking where's NIRA's makeup artist, which begs the question, why is there a triangle under her eye? It's certainly not to knock out sunlight glare, because she'd have one under each eye like a good football player does.
That's what marks the Cyber Angels. We're going back to 90s logic now, remember.
It's lore. It's lore.
It's lore.
It's the easy way to acknowledge.
And then when she runs into other Cyber Angels, that's how she knows that they're Cyber Angels.
That's right.
Because they have that triangle. I actually had a couple different ways in story of how the triangle ended up on her face. One was like a predestination or a is it a predestination time loop? When it's predetermined time loop. Yeah. So when she was born, there were, when she was a baby, she basically had the triangle on her face already because of the previous lives that she had lived. And somehow there was, that's what confused. That was the cool, confusing mystery of the scene, was that the character just like, she's got this triangle on her face and she was just born with it. And it turns out it's a result of, like all the pre-existing, like a birthmark, but it's just like perfectly sharp triangle. Another thing was that when she was younger, she basically had it as because she lives, like this futuristic type of background, right? So it's like, this is like the year 2192 for her. And she has something she calls a dermal. And it's essentially, it's a style thing that, it's like, like tattoos or anything else. Except in this future cyber punky kind of world, the dermal is here. I'll draw it up here on her ear. She has kind of an earring that kind of clips on to the side of her ear instead of like something that hangs underneath it. So that's like the style from back then. So when she pinches it, it turns on a dermal or a design that she would make herself. So the triangle was something that she designed herself.
Yeah,
and it just carried through.
Technically, it was 2180 because I'm looking at the first page of Ground Zero.
No, you're absolutely right. She was born in 2170.
Yep.
Wait a second.
Which again,
she's born in 2170 and is 2180. She's 10.
She's 10 years old. There you go.
If you want, I can show you the page, which is available in the Ground Zero trade paperback on communitycomics.com.
And by the way, and if some people have actually figured this out because they know I'm lazy, she was born in the year 2170 because I was born in 1970.
1970.
So it helps me keep track of the numbers a little bit better, a little easier at least.
We don't see NIRA penciling the edges of the birthmark.
Yeah, she never does that. She just pinches her ear and it just turns on. And of course, it doomed all the other Cyber Angels forever to have the triangle on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not a Cyber
Now we've
Angel.
all got to get one.
And you all got to get one now. That's what it is.
Jeez, thanks.
NIRA's like, go to my website and buy my digital Cyber Angel triangle. So I'll make my side money. It's my side hustle.
Yep.
If you want to see me take my triangle off, click on my OnlyFans.
There you go.
Now you're thinking.
There you go. So, you know what I found the other day, Bill, when I was going through the Committed Comics archive, because I was reorganizing stuff, I found the Ground Zero preview book books that we did. All three covers.
Yeah, we did do different covers. Yeah, we even have
that was what we did with Lessa.
Yeah, with the convention center,
with the convention, San Diego Comic-Con Convention Center.
With Lessa, yeah.
Yep. And then an early sketch cover one. Yeah, I was like, holy crap, I still have these.
That'll be $8.
So, yeah.
Call my 1-800 number right now.
Which I think I threw a couple of those in the digital cover gallery on the Reborn #3 Kickstarter stretch goal. I don't even remember what I put in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have a lot of cool stretch goal stuff for this campaign. We're going to have a lot of new trinkets, like you were saying, RJ. Just weird little stuff and collectible type of things. We're going to have sketch covers available, limited, of course, and limited commissions, and then limited, remarks, which will be, in between sketch cover, and, so
I just love watching this character pop out of the page. Like just a second ago, this was just a couple of scant lines that we could barely see, and now it's a girl.
Yep, that's the magic of Bill. That's what he does.
I like being able to take what's in my brain and somehow sticking it on paper.
Oh yeah.
It's like, this is what I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. Look, this is what I was thinking.
Yes. And what I really hate what artists do, because I worked with a guy who did coloring books for Disney, and then he was working at a grocery chain for me. He was in the marketing department. He's the guy who came up with the generic characters for the cereal boxes and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
He did a Toastmasters presentation where he was drawing stuff. He's like, and any of you can learn how to do this. I'm like, shut up.
Well, that's the back in the day. What is it? Draw Timmy the turtle.
Yeah, I can draw the duck. That was it. I can draw the duck. That's it.
You're better than me, sir. I think I got half the turtle done.
if you can draw this duck, we want you to come to the Art Institute.
That's right.
And take my money.
Yeah. That's too funny.
So now here we're getting the historian, the scribe.
There you go.
The pissed off historian. He's constantly pissed off.
My name is Boston Brand. Oh no.
Like he's looking at the map going, I don't know where we are. What do I look like? I'm not Siri.
that would be like if you're doing the kind of police squad humor, it would be really cool to zoom in on the map and there's a AAA logo in the upper corner.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Or on the map, there's a whole bunch of Denny's marked off.
Or Stuckies.
Yeah, there you go.
Only 3 miles to the Stuckies.
That's right.
we visited all of them.
Yes.
Last time I saw that, some guy had a Hooters passport, and he had visited all of them.
Wow, that is something.
It was a big thing for him because it's like if you got so many of the Hooters passport punches done,
they give you
and validated
free meal.
It was like a free party, and the Hooters girls would show up at your house. And I was like, "Who's invited?" He's like, "Me."
That's hysterical and horrifying all at the same time. And no, Kevin,
you
that will
didn't
not
know
be
the
a
guy, so
tier
yes.
on the campaign.
I actually learned the thing that makes a Hooters girl the happiest.
What, going home?
No, the thing that makes them the happiest is, okay, we've acknowledged that it's somebody's birthday, but don't sing. It's like, don't sing, don't acknowledge it. Just bring him the free cake.
Right.
Like
and
a little piece
away.
of chocolate cake. Yeah. Maybe like, okay, take a little picture. Fine, take a picture. Don't worry about the singing. Don't sing. And they look at you. They look at you with a sigh of relief.
Right.
And of course, everybody at the table is also relieved because nobody can sing anyway. So
yeah, and nobody wants that.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win.
I know.
I haven't been to Hooters in forever because we have a Twin Peaks near here. So
there you go.
More food options.
Yeah, Hooters is not
sure.
known for the cuisine.
Yeah. And there's actually good food at Twin Peaks.
There is actually, yeah. Hooters.
I went there for my birthday last year, and I, said, yeah, it's my birthday. It's just me. I'm by myself. I'm alone. I'm pathetic. And they're like, "Aw," which ploy worked. Yes. And I got
that
the picture
steak is
taken.
free, sir.
Yes. And I got my picture taken with them all. So I'm going to do it again this birthday, of course, because I want the picture again.
Yeah.
But I want to compare because I've lost 60 pounds since then.
Dude, yeah, a little before and after. Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin has
my
a nice
goal
idea.
is to see if they stand closer to me.
Yeah. Kevin has a good idea in the chat there.
What's that?
Temporary tattoos.
That is actually a good
as a stretch goal.
That'd be kind of cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, I already know where to get them. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Just
Thanks, Kev. That's a good idea, dude.
Yep.
Everybody can be a cyber angel.
That's right. Yeah. Although the question becomes, right? Do we make them large enough for the face, so like a 3-inch one?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Or
I don't know. Not 3 inches. I think 2 inches is big enough for a cheek.
That's what I kept telling her. I mean, wait, what are we talking about again? or if not temporary tattoos, then I don't want to say pasties, but I'm going to say pasties.
Like I don't want to, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, a thin vinyl reusable that you can just kind of adhere to the face and then take off and put away and then put back on when you want to do it again.
I see. Yeah. I see what you're going for.
No. If we're gonna do that, we're just gonna do a window cling.
There you go, window cling, perfect.
So again, I know all these manufacturers. I know where to get all this stuff. I have a problem.
I've got a stack of plastic up here.
It's like I have a problem.
I've got a stack of plastic up here above my computer that I bought last year because I had this brainstorm that turned out to be a brain fart. Because I was like, I know one thing that nobody's doing on their campaigns.
Right.
Shrinky dinks.
And you realized why.
Well, I bought the plain shrinky dink plastic.
Plastic,
I ran it through my inkjet printer with my company logo. I'm like, here we go. And it's like printing. I'm like, look at that. And it's just like smeared right off. It did not stick to the, marker will stick to the paper. Inkjet dust will not.
Well, no, you have to put a sublimation, heat sublimation onto it, ironically enough. So, no, shrinky dinks. I mean, again, it's one of those kind of things that unless you're going to make it a tier to purchase, it becomes cost prohibited.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you the other thing that nobody's done.
What's that?
That wouldn't be so.
It might already be in our chamber. You don't know. Go on.
Color forms.
Oh yeah.
You talked about the window cling. Remember color forms? You'd get like the shiny, glossy playset scene of the city, and then you just stick Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson all over the thing.
That's right.
You mean like the Presto Magics?
Yep. Yeah. And we already have the image that we can use from our sticker sheet from Reborn Number 2. Was that Reborn
Oh,
2?
two?
Was that
Yeah,
Reborn
yeah.
3? It was
I think
2.
it was. I want to say it's 2, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
The sticker sheet was really fun. I like the way the sticker sheet came out.
We can do another one. We just got to get the artwork together.
Oh yeah,
I liked it as well.
Just make them clings, and then if you do it, and then someone else says, "Hey, they did it, I'll do it." Then somebody else does it. Now you can start getting intercompany crossover color forms crises going on.
There you go. There you go. Well, the funny thing is, actually, I could find the manufacturer and then just send out the information to everybody, and then, that would be a fun San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
You see, a little brainstorming goes a long way.
Yeah, talk to a whole bunch of other small press guys and small press,
and
then everyone gets the backings, the backboard to give away, and then we sell them all for like $1 a piece.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I take it and run. I throw these ideas out, and sometimes people use them, and sometimes they don't. I've been trying forever. I've been trying forever to get trading cards done right. And by done right, I mean like the 1990s X-Men Fleer sets that you would collect and put in the
you mean the ones that me and Bill did for Reborn? We pretty much utilized that same template.
You did it, but here's what I want to see happen. I want to see Bill talk with 8 other crowdfunder people, and have one artist draw a 3x3 grid of all 9 characters against a common background and a common art style. And then put your own card on your own campaign and say, hey, this is card number 3 of a set that, by the way, you can get on these 8 other campaigns. Now you got 8 people directing things to your campaign while you're directing things to the 8 other campaigns.
Or what you do is you actually have a jam piece done by each of the individual artists, but you have someone do the layouts.
Exactly.
Which I already have.
And we're an OCD crowd.
Yeah.
We'll get the NIRA X card. And if we learn that there's like not 8 other ones we got to get, well, we weren't gonna get them before, but now we have to.
Now we have to. RJ, I made the mistake, and of course I made the mistake once, and I had to replicate the mistake because I'm stupid. We did, instead of having each card as a stretch goal, I had it as one stretch goal, and you got all 9 cards.
Oh,
exactly.
Just that little response.
And then I did the exact same thing because I was like, well, I can't just have it for one campaign. I have to have it for the next campaign too. And that was for Reborn 2 and 3. And then we got the Dark Seas, and people asked, they said, oh, are we going to get card set? And I said, no.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, it's not OCD. It is CDO. Why? Because they're in the alphabetical order.
As they should be. One other, item tier, reward tier that we're going to have, which is a carryover from Dark Seas number 1, which limited amounts will be available, are acrylic standees. So
love those. Getting quite a collection of them, actually.
That's right. Yeah, because we've got NIRA and Mercy already with the first set.
Yep.
And so the second set,
we can have Scry and Allura.
Well, we definitely have to have Allura.
Yeah. But since Scry makes a very heavy appearance.
He does. He's guiding them on their way. And
so it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Spoiler alert, he's not going to die.
Tom.
Yes,
Tom. I just blended ideas together here. We were talking color forms. We were talking vinyl clings. You're talking now acrylic standees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's clothing.
Clothing for your nude acrylic standee.
No, that'll be issue 3, and no, actually, that'll be the next number 1 for the next miniseries. We will do that.
Yeah, it's your plastic paper doll.
Yes, we'll make a paper doll. We'll make a paper doll. Maybe that's when I get Tyndall to do the cover, Bill.
Yes, you get the
Tyndall
nude
likes
standee,
to draw
and then,
those very long characters.
Yes, and then you can have stretch goals. It's like, hey, if we hit the $20,000 stretch goal, you get the red dress. If we hit the $30,000 one, you get the blue bikini.
That's right. Yeah, the funded version will just be the cyber skin.
Yeah.
There we go.
I like this.
I know you do.
Do the braining.
Okay, so you make it family friendly for the basic one. It's like we're just gonna say NIRA X, but But
what we could actually
stretch
do
goal
is
can be the nude.
we can actually literally just do the clothing on the next campaign because they'll already have the dolls.
Yeah. And you all you have to do is just do a matching nude skin for like, the $100,000 level.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is what happens when we stream for too long.
Yeah.
Well,
you're right. We start getting punchy. I was like,
this
why
has been a
start
good night.
nude? That's where you don't start with the nude base. That's where you try to drive them to.
That's right.
That's true.
Because come on, it costs just as much to print comic number A with 32 pages as it does to print comic number B with 32 pages.
Oh yeah.
But because number B has boobies on it,
boobies.
we can add $40 to it, and people will still throw money at them. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They're not real boobies.
Are they though?
Still ink.
Aren't they though?
Well, do we care?
Still real to me, man.
It's exactly like the cutout dresses for the 2D Barbies. It's exactly like the stripping that goes on in My Naughty Riverdale on Facebook, which one of my favorite groups is. They're just throwing up Dan DeCarlo artwork all the time, and then just God, remodeling it. It's like, look, we took the clothes off of Dan DeCarlo, Betty, and Veronica.
Oh, poor Dan.
Well, they found original Dan's where he just said, "Here, let me do it for you."
Well, yeah, I mean, because they had it. I mean, they were actually just they didn't have any details, so they just filled it in. But yeah, I love Kevin. He goes, "No, $40, no, $69."
Yes.
Yeah, he's been bidding 69 now in the past couple of auctions that we've had, and it's like it works out really good. It's like it's really funny. It's like it's like I'm waiting for the bid to pop up, and I'm just like, yes.
Oh, wait, what does Ken say there? He says Michaela as a stand.
Oh,
well,
no,
Malka had clothing.
Malka. Yeah, Malka is a new cyber angel to the family, and Malka is actually
I don't know her.
Angel. Yeah, she's new. She's actually brand new to the continuity, and I've got her. I've got her coming in actually in this story because I already told Ken that she was going to be featured in this story. I've also got. I think we've got like 3 or 4 new cyber angel characters coming into this particular story.
Okay, well, hold on a
second. Ken has the distinction. Ken has the distinction of this cyber angel is actually based on someone he knows and is in love with and shares his life with.
There you go. It's his dog.
And she actually she had to actually approve the design and everything of the character. So this is very
yes,
very
Kevin,
cool.
she will have clothing.
Unless otherwise approved.
I was going to say, actually, it sounds like she needs to have her own variant cover that we can have a special tier that is signed by the model and the artist.
There you go.
That's a good possibility. Ken, you'll have to give me your thoughts on that, Ken. You talk with the boss. You let me know. Then I'll get back with Tommy.
Coming up.
Ken is like cover.
Kept you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She would
I kept
be
you
into
guys
that.
here an
Perfect.
hour beyond our normal time.
Well, that's because we're having fun, Garjay. But yeah,
this is true. We are. But
look at how many ideas we bounce back and forth.
I know.
Yes, and nobody steal them now.
There's gonna be so many problems. It's okay, RJ. They can steal them because they're not going to do them as good as we would. So that's fine.
Just make sure you peer pressure all of your friends into backing and helping us push this forward.
Sign up for the campaign.
If you
need 1,000 backers.
If you want the nude color form skin for your acrylic Kira, $100,000 tier has to be hit.
There you go.
So people push this thing. 6 figures, young lady.
Yeah.
It's
all right, Tom.
Not impossible.
I count on you to keep all this straight, Tom.
Yeah, of course, because God forbid you actually pay attention.
He's trying.
My head's in the clouds. My head's I get paid to keep my brain in the clouds.
Now we're gonna have me and you will have a phone call probably sometime next week, early next week, to hash out all the final.
Oh yeah. I think
final goodies. So that way I can
sure.
start
Hitting a
production.
deep cut there.
And I
Like
like
right
and,
here.
and I like that we had the Critical Blast precog
Yeah.
announcing. Basically, this is the first announcement of the of the Kickstarter to begin with. So this is I talked with RJ a little bit before, Tom, and we're like we're still scheduling out. We'll still decide on what dates to actually promote and stuff for when the Kickstarter is actually active.
Active.
So I'm
back.
so I was happy you had an opening tonight, so that way we can actually just hang out and talk about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, again,
Absolutely.
it works great. Yeah. So I'm
And we got
excited for this one. This one
see for
definitely.
the first time, page 2.
That's true. Yeah.
There you go.
And this
This is
campaign feels a little
page
more
2 live.
structured as Committee
Yes.
Comics does more of these. You know, I mean, we've done so far 3 NIRA X's. They've all funded. I did 2 other projects, which unfortunately did not fund. But again, that's life. And then in my project, which just barely funded, just squeaked by the finish line. But if it crossed the finish line,
It did it.
So,
All it needs.
but yeah, but I'm
Just a
again,
finish.
I'm learning a ton as I go, and it's fun, it's exciting, but it's also frustrating as hell. So,
Well, we're traversing new territory. We're literally carving out new territory. I mean, it's like the larger companies are scaling back. There's kind of I don't know. This is kind of I don't know if it's a dumpster fire or if it's just a soup sandwich of things that are happening with the larger companies. But it's allowing this niche to open up for independents to be. And everybody's
it's the same thing I've been saying for years, is that the larger companies are exactly that. They're larger. And so when they need to pivot and turn, they can't pivot. They actually have to, do the slow turn of a big bus.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Titanic trying to make a sharp turn, as opposed to us. We're smaller. We're
So
nimble.
we're able to do that.
We're nimble.
And no, Kevin,
And
Gigi will not make a cameo because I don't know who Gigi is.
Gigi Edgley. We're working on a project with her.
That's a different project. Yeah, we can't get. We'll have to talk to her. Actually, I'll probably talk to her at San Diego because I'm assuming she'll be there, right?
Yeah, she'll be in San Diego.
Yeah, so
I'm waiting for the 2 big trees of DC and Marvel to finally get Dutch Elm and just come tumbling down so that everyone can see that. Oh no, the 2 big trees are gone. What are we going to do? Hey, wait a second. There's like 100 little trees growing around under here.
What the funny thing is, RJ, is that a lot of people say that, and actually, for somebody who's been on both sides, or actually all 3 facets of comic books, as in terms of a fan, a retailer, and now a publisher, that would be the worst thing in the universe for them to go away.
I know we do need them.
Yeah, we
for
need
sure.
them to a point. But you're right; it would be nice for them to shift slightly, so other smaller, trees can be seen.
And that's what I think is happening. That's what I think we're in the middle of.
I think that actually happened around 97.
Right.
Time frame when Marvel kind of almost went bankrupt, or essentially did go bankrupt. They weren't publishing a lot of stuff.
Right.
They weren't publishing a lot of stuff, and it was just it was pretty much allowed other people to step up, like Image, like IDW, like Dark Horse. Well, Dark Horse has always been around, but essentially, in 97 time frame, that's when a lot of these other guys started to make a stink and make some noise.
Right.
So.
In 1997 is the first time I bought stock in my life. So I went because I wanted Marvel stock because the annual report was a comic book. How rare is this?
Yeah.
But I went ahead to whoever the stockbroker was, or big name at the time. I was like, I need to invest some money. Like, well, you need to diversify. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not buying a whole bunch, but I bought a little bit of Marvel, and I bought a little bit of LA Gear, and I bought a little bit of Levitt's Furniture. And
nice job, buddy.
That year, boom, boom, boom.
3 for 3, sir.
3 for 3. They all went bankrupt. So my new plan was to actually keep that information and go approach CEOs of other companies. I'm like, look, for $10,000 a year in perpetuity, I will never buy your stock. And all I got to do is get like 10 of them to sign off on that. 10,000. None of them is going to notice 10,000 a year.
No, not at all. No. The funny thing was, actually, at the time, I wanted to buy Marvel stock, in like 94 is when it went public, I believe, if I remember correctly, and that kind of stuff. And my dad was like, no, that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. So what I did is I tracked it for 2 years. And in that 2 years, it split twice. And I told him, and then I said, because I told him, I said, the reason why I wanted to buy into it is because I know exactly when I would have sold. And I marked it on my little graph where I would have sold. And shortly after I marked it, probably less than 5 months later, is when it started to go straight down. And I literally showed it to him. I'm like, here you go. Shut your hole. Listen to me next time. And I walked away. Because, again, if we had dropped in $1,000, we would have turned from that $1,000. We probably would have ended up with about $8,000 in 2 years. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, thanks a lot, Dad. Split twice. 2 years.
Buying stocks as an investment is nowhere near as good as buying comics as an investment.
Well, that's essentially what I did. That's when I started buying original artwork as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now that's the thing to do.
Yeah. That's how I have 3 Kirby pieces.
Buy the old comics. If you're trying to invest, because
the modern age stuff is just it's so funny because that stuff shoots up. Like you look at the prices on Amazing 300, right? Venom, and people are like, this is incredible. This is this, and I'm like, it's an inflated price point. It's never going to be, a nice high grade JLA one.
I was in a comic shop in Texas, living there, and I was just making do while I was living there for a year out of a hotel. And I looked, I was like, why is Batman Adventures on the wall, and why is it $600? Like, oh, it's the first
number 12.
appearance of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's number 12.
Yeah. I was like, really?
The funny thing about that book, if you look at it, back then, way back when it was raw for 600, essentially now, if you get it slabbed, unless it's a 9.8, right? Like, for most other, it's probably about the same price point. $600 to $1,000. So it's like, well,
I was like, that's under my kid's bed at home. I went home, got under his bed, I pulled it out, and I put it on eBay, and I got $375 for it. I'm like,
there you go, for a $1.25 book. So,
which is what I paid for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's very funny.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that numerous times, but yeah,
dude,
I'm gonna let y'all go.
Yes,
this was a good time, man. I appreciate you having us on. It was good to hang out.
Some guy collected all the original art of a single issue of Fantastic Four. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Want to have you back when the campaign launches. Try to make you some money. No guarantees.
Absolutely.
I've actually had one go down while they were on the show. Never want to do that again.
No. Don't do that one.
Yeah.
It was. I felt really bad. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. So
there you go.
Glad that you're here. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.